So, hello everyone, and so we are very excited and happy to be here today to be able to talk to you, all of you. And we are going to take your doubts as well as your queries today, and we'll also talk about the revision and how to go about here onwards.
Yes, so a very, very warm welcome to each one of you, and it's a pleasure to connect back with all of you post Diwali, right? And I'm sure it was a healthy, happy Diwali, but yes, with mixed results. Some people have done up to their expectations, some might not have done up to their expectations, but believe me, there is always and always scope of improvement, and that's why we are here, right?
And just give us a thumbs up if you are able to hear us and everything all right with the audio video. Just give us a thumbs up.
So we're going to chart out a plan for the upcoming NEET PG, and this is what we have told on the eMedicos app, also in the morning transform sessions, that no matter where you are, your past or your results so far do not define what your future can be like, right? It does not even define to what heights you can reach. So please understand that don't let any results or any failures of the past, right, bring down your morale or bring down your desire to achieve more in life. That's very, very important, right? We are all going to have some downfalls. We are all going to have some success. But the important thing is that when you get success, you stay grounded. And when you have a downfall, you realize that once you feel that it is a downfall, the only way after that is go up and up and up. So we have to rise, right? When we hit hard on the ground, there's only one way, that we bounce back higher, right?
So once an exam result is out, the first thing you need to do is you need to find out what went right and what went wrong. So I want all of you to tell me in the chat box, what were your bottom three subjects? Okay, so write only the names of the bottom three subjects in the INICET exam. So if you write them, they will give us an idea on how to go about the revision further. But you need to identify what were your bottom three subjects in the exam.
In fact, I want all of you to sit with a pen and a paper, and there is some tasks that I'm going to give you while we are doing this session to prepare for NEET PG, and all of you are going to write down those tasks, and you are going to commit to those tasks, and I'm going to be there for you to look after whether you are keeping those tasks or not. But when we have to restart, we have to sort of introspect on what we have done so far, right? And that is why I want everyone to just simply sit with a pen and a paper. And the first task that Dr. Sumer has given you, can you please write down what are the three bottom-most subjects for you? That is the first task. Each one of you will write it not only in the chat box, we want you to write it down on a piece of paper, and this piece of paper has to go in front of your wall where you sit and study. You have to constantly look at this. This sheet of paper will give you a lot of insight, and this is what we are going to do today in the YouTube session. So you're all going to sit very actively, listen to us, write down your tasks, write down the answers, and then we move forward.
I think, first thing I want all of you to know is that you're all doing a mistake. All of you are writing anatomy, biochemistry, physiology. Reason you are asking this is because in INICET, basic sciences are asked more and they're more tricky. In NEET PG, these are not the deciding subjects. NEET PG, clinical subjects will have more weightage. Are you able to understand? Everybody, let me know in the chat box.
Yes.
Are you able to understand? In INICET, after INICET, everybody feels anatomy, biochemistry, dissection images, gross anatomy images are more important. But that is not true for NEET PG. Don't get confused. NEET PG and FMG are different exams conducted by different boards. Okay. So are you clear with this? First thing.
Okay. The second task of the session for you. So everybody, you have to write the second task. Right? The first task was write down your bottom three subjects. Your task number 2, because we need to do an analysis. We need to sit together, because when we ask you to do an analysis on your own, I see you get lost. So you're going to do it with me and Dr. Sumer today in this session. We will not only do an analysis, each one of you will charter a plan for yourself, and then we will micromanage, right? So your second task for today's session is, can you write down out of these three things, what do you think is your biggest culprit? A, was it content? Okay, listen to me very carefully. Each one of you, task number 2, out of the 3 things, in case you have not performed up to your expectation, what do you think is the culprit? Is A, the culprit is your content, right? B, is the culprit your MCQ skill? And 3, is the culprit your revision, right? Out of the 3, I want you to write down what do you think is the culprit behind you not reaching where you thought you could, right? And then we will tell you whether your assessment on your culprit is right or wrong. Each one of you, please write it down on your sheet of paper as well. We want to know it. Definitely write it in the chat box.
We can see a lot of you are saying revision, 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 revision. I can see some bachas are saying, like Bhumika said, content, but mainly it is lack of proper revision, lack of proper revision. Yes.
Okay, you commit and then I'll tell you whether your answer is right or wrong, because we're going to play this MCQ game here as well. Yes, so there were 3 problems. Was it content? Was it MCQ skill? Was it revision? And then we will tell you whether your selection is right or wrong. Me and Dr. Sumer will tell you how to decide whether it is content, how to decide whether it is MCQ skill, how to decide whether it is revision. But first, you commit your answers and then we'll tell you whether you've done a correct assessment or not, right?
I think the most interesting answer a bacha has given all 3 in different subjects.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Okay.
That's why we are here. We want you to open your heart out. Nobody is judging you here. Me, Dr. Sumer, any other teacher, teachers never judge you, okay? Because that makes us bad teachers. Our goal is to build you up from wherever you are. So no matter which state you are, which place you are, what is your current rank, what was your past rank, that is immaterial for us. For us, you are all at a one level and our goal is to bring you to your best potential, right? So we are not here to judge. Believe me, not anyone else in the chat box is here to judge you as well, because each has their own, stories. So now once you have committed your answers, I am going to tell you how do you decide if it is your content. So I'm going to tell you, then sir is a master at MCQ skill, okay? I am good at content. So we are going to tell you that and you will see whether your selection is right or wrong. Number 1, for everyone, in case your number of correct questions in the recent grand tests, last 3 grand tests before INICET, if your number of correct questions in the last 3 grand tests is less than 120, okay, I repeat, if your number of correct questions in the last 3 grand tests before INICET is less than 120, then yes, please remember, content is definitely one of your problems. The lower the number goes, the more important it is to realize that your content is not up to the mark. For example, 120 correct is borderline content correct, okay. The lower you go than this, the bigger the problem of content is. So now you have to tick mark whether you selected, those of you who have written content, and some of you may not have written content as your culprit, but based on what I told you, you will put a tick mark whether it was content or not, right? As I said, deciding on not your INICET ranks, I'm not deciding on the basis of that. I am deciding on the last 3 grand tests that you gave before INICET, okay? Number of correct questions. If it is less than 120, yes, one of your problems is content and we will tell you how to work on it, because there is sufficient time. From now until NEET PG, there are still 3.5 months to go. There is no reason why we should leave our content weak. There is no reason why we should keep our content superficial. I'm sure you've seen in the INICET, nobody is, the topics might sound familiar, but they are more interested in really knowing how much you know about that topic. So it is not just the width. In certain topics, you have to ensure you have a good depth as well. Now, the second thing, the problem is, right? Let's see if some of you have written down MCQ skill. Dr. Sumer will tell you on what basis do you decide whether MCQ skill is your culprit or not? And some of you could have more than one correct answers. मतलब content भी कम है, MCQ skill भी नहीं है, वो देखेंगे, but you keep putting a tick mark.
सबसे पहले ना आपने देखना है कि when you were giving the exam, how many of you had changed the answers and later on found out कि जो मैंने बदले थे वो ही सही थे. So पहले सोचो कि क्या मैंने आंसर बदले थे, और अगर बदले थे तो क्या वो प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं थे. Okay. दूसरा, another thing that I want you to see is very important is find out from yourself how many did you attempt in this paper. I have interviewed almost all toppers. You've seen them in the YouTube channel of DAMS, and you've seen they were all aggressive in this paper. So, were you able to manage each set? Were you able to manage the time? Were you able to manage the uh, attempting? Were you aggressive in the paper? Try to find out all those things. That will tell you about your MCQ skill. There is only one mantra that works on all the MCQs is, are you able to attack the paper once you are able to rule out two choices? दो choice rule out करने के बाद क्या आप attack कर पा रहे हो? That is the critical thing, and that is the most important thing that we need to build on by giving more grand tests, analyzing them. But more important thing is, was it time management? Was it answer changing? Was it the first instinct that was the culprit? Or was it overthinking, underthinking? सोच के बताना आपका villain कौन था? Overthinking, underthinking.
Okay, also one more thing I want to take care when you write about the MCQ skill, because I think this is something which is a problem with a lot of students. How many of you think that no matter how much you read a topic, you are always confused? Please listen to me carefully. You're always confused between two options. देखो कुछ बच्चे होते हैं जो कुछ क्वेश्चंस में दो ऑप्शंस में अटकते हैं, मगर बाकी मेजर क्वेश्चंस में they are not stuck with two options. But there is another category of students who are always confused in two options in almost every MCQ. So is this your problem? I want people to tick mark only if you face this problem in most of the MCQs, right? If in most of the MCQs you find problem in two options, not only in this INICT, but otherwise also in grand tests also, in class test also, in SWTs also. अगर ऐसा है तो आप ये भी अपने टास्क बॉक्स में लिखोगे. Were you confused in two options in most of the questions? In some questions, even toppers will get confused. Okay, so if it is like 10, 20, 30 odd MCQs where you are stuck between two options, it is okay. But if in most of the MCQs you are always stuck in two options, then you have to put a tick mark. I am not focusing on this INICT because मुझे तो एक general assessment करवाना है ताकि आप यहाँ से लेकर NEET PG तक अपना plan draw कर पाओ. ठीक है? So people who find that in most of the MCQs, they have this problem, no matter how much they have read, they're always confused between two options, right? Then you need to put down again. Believe me, this is a problem of content. If in most of the MCQs you have a problem, then it is not MCQ skill. Then it is content. Because, bache, what happens is, when options are far apart, then even your superficial knowledge helps you to rule out options. But when the options get close, then if your knowledge or content is superficial, you will not be able to rule out. इसलिए मैंने बोला, if in most of the MCQs you face this problem, then please realize it is a problem of content. If in only few MCQs, maybe 20, 25, 30, I would say, क्योंकि वो तो हर क्वेश्चन पेपर का डिफिकल्टी लेवल पे डिपेंडेंट होता है. सो इफ in some questions you face a problem, let's say even 30 odd MCQs you face a problem of two options, then it is MCQ skill. If it is 170 MCQs where you face a problem, then it is content, right? So we have talked about how to decide whether your culprit is content, whether your culprit is MCQ skill. Are you all writing your tasks? Are you all sitting with a piece of pen and paper with you? Everybody, please, it's a very kind request, क्योंकि बच्चे अपने आप नहीं समझ पा रहे हो कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है. मुझे ये आपको रियलाइज कराना है कि आप पहचान पाओ कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है, ताकि आपको लगे कि आप उसे टैकल कर सकते हो. See, the concern is when you have a problem in front of you, if you're able to identify that this is my problem, then you can make a plan as well, that this is how I will go about it, this is how I will work on it. But if someone really doesn't understand what went wrong and we're just sad about that, then ये तो एग्जाम निकल गया, तो आगे वाली अपॉर्चुनिटी भी निकल जाएगी. मुझे चाहिए कि अभी हम रियलाइज कर लें, ताकि हमारे पास एक स्ट्रैटेजी हो, एक प्लान हो, ताकि नेक्स्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी में वी आर एबल टू स्ट्राइक बैक हार्ड, right? So all of you sit with a pen of paper, okay? Then yes, you should know, we have already talked about two things, content and MCQ skill. Bache, if you feel 60 to 70 questions you face a problem of two options, then yes, it is more than 50%, almost 50% MCQs. I would say content, especially in some subjects, okay? Especially in some subjects. Now I will hand over the mic to Dr. Sumer. He is going to tell you how to identify if your problem is revision.
See, most of the time, the problem when it happens in revision is when you are trying to revise everything. When you try to revise everything, nobody is able to revise it all. है ना. एक बार सब बच्चे चैट में देख के बताएंगे कि अगर हमें लग रहा है कि यार नहीं यार मैं तो सब कुछ रिवाइज करूंगा, सारे नोट्स करूंगा, सारी किताबें करूंगा, नहीं हो पाता. We have to select the high yield topics. And what are the high yield topics? To understand the high yield, we need to find out what are those 20% topics which are asked most often. ठीक है. वो 20% टॉपिक कौन से हैं जिसपे ज्यादा क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं? इसको कहते हैं 80-20 प्रिंसिपल. 80-20 principle means 80% of the questions are asked from 20% of the topics, which is what you identify by looking at PYTs, looking at, like remember INI से पहले हमने INI PYT किया था, that gave you an idea on what are the topics that are going to be asked. Similarly, before NEET PG, we'll do a session called as DVT, which will give you the idea on most important topics to be asked. And before your FMGE exam, we will do a session called as DFX, which will give you the idea on 80% of the paper based on those short discussions that we will do in these revision sessions. Our goal in the revision session is to identify the hot zones. Revision के अंदर सारा zone नहीं revise करना, but we need to revise the hot zones and we need to go deeper into them. मतलब जो important topics हैं उसको अगर deep चले जाते हैं तो ज्यादा फायदा मिलेगा as compared to non-important topics पे जाने से.
अब if you have analyzed out of the three main big areas, is your problem or culprit content, is your problem MCQ skill, or is your problem revision? Now you have three big areas that you know where you are stuck or what are your culprits which are stopping you from going to the next level. Now the next thing is, once we have identified this, what should be the plan further? Anybody, if your culprit was content, which means your number of correct questions is less, not just in INICET, but also in previous 3-4 grand tests. And I told you the cutoff is 120, which is a borderline rank, number of correct questions. Anything below that is definitely less for the upcoming exam. Now coming to how can we build the content, right? Because we're going to tackle three areas one by one. So content first, MCQ skill then, and then we come to revision. So if the problem is content, how do we tackle it? Number one, you have to understand that main difference between INICET and NEET PG. Number one difference, sir has already told. In INICET, first and second prof subjects are asked more. But in NEET PG exam, third and fourth year subjects make the main bulk. So you have to tilt your bar now, giving priority to third and fourth year subjects. That's the first thing. So अगर आपको जानना है कि पहले क्या पढ़ें, it should be your third and fourth year subjects for NEET PG for two reasons. Number one, they carry more weightage. Number two, they are more vast, right? So rather than leaving them towards the end, it's better to do them first. So third and fourth year subjects, we will give priority. We will also ensure that we are going to cover these first, which means if any, in third and fourth year subjects, if you have any pendencies, please listen to me carefully. Keep writing down on your sheet of pen and paper, and then you can actually send a snapshot to me also later after the session. ओके तो पहला हमने फर्क बताया, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ ईयर सब्जेक्ट्स आर मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, you have to tackle them first, which means you have to see if there are any tendencies in third and fourth year subjects. That will be your first goal up till DVT, right? So I am giving you time up till DVT, which is 12th of December. That's when we start. My first advice to all the people who lack content after the analysis that we did is cover your pendencies, especially from third and fourth year subjects, giving them a priority until DVT. Okay, if you have pendencies in first and second year, we can do them a little later. The reason I am saying is, number one, first and second year subjects are more volatile. So even if you do them too early, you will have to do them again. So rather than sitting and doing biochemistry and microbiology now, because you'll have to anyways do them closer to the exam, wait. Okay, pendencies of first and second year subjects can be done in the later part. First, tackle third and fourth year subjects. Cover your pendencies. This is the first difference. The second difference I want you to understand is, if the problem is content, third and fourth year subjects may, please remember the second difference between INICET and NEET PG is width of topics. INICET asks lesser width of topics, मतलब variety of topics are less. वो सेम टॉपिक्स में से INICET वाले बार बार क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, मगर डेप्थ बहुत ज्यादा पूछते हैं, एज यू कुड सी, राइट? So please understand this. The difference between INICET and NEET PG is, NEET PG में you need more width, which means you have to do more number of topics as compared to INICET. You cannot have a tunnel there, right? Tunnel कैसे होती है? Narrow होती है पर deep होती है, right? तो वो INICET का गोल है. नीट पीजी में हमें विड्थ बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, हमें टॉपिक्स जो हमें आने चाहिए वो बढ़ाने पड़ेंगे. डेप्थ बहुत डीप नहीं चाहिए, बहुत डीप नहीं चाहिए, मगर विड्थ थोड़ी बढ़ानी पड़ेगी. और कुछ टॉपिक्स जो हम बताएंगे आपको, सर ने बोला 80-20 रेशियो, सो सम टॉपिक्स आर वंस वेयर we need to go into the depth also, right? We will do that. Is that clear? Okay. Yes, don't worry. Ankit is asking, how do we decide in which topics are we going to do the depth? That is why we are here, right? So when we do DVT for you, right? In the DVT, as I said, we will give you the width, which means we will cover more topics as compared to INI PYT. Some people were asking me, मैम व्हाट अबाउट INI PYT, व्हाट अबाउट DVT? सो मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनो, ठीक है? As I said, in DVT we will cover the width that is required, which means we will cover even those topics which were probably not very important for INICET, but because NEET PG is going to ask more width, we will cover width in DVT. Okay. Second, in topics which we as faculty know that NEET PG people are fonder of asking, the DVT will automatically in those topics cover the depth also. So DVT mein there will be a gradation. Some topics we will cover only for width, some topics we will cover in depth also, right? So it will give you the last minute thing which is a must do for your last 3 months. So DVT will solve both the purpose. It will give you the width, it will give you the depth, right? तीसरा चीज कंटेंट बिल्डिंग के लिए जो मैं चाहती हूं आप करो, एंड मेरे हाथ जोड़ के आपसे विनती है, प्लीज व्हेनेवर यू आर डूइंग अ ग्रैंड टेस्ट, योर ओन TND, योर ओन क्लास टेस्ट, मैं इसलिए नहीं बोल रही हूँ कि ये मेरी स्ट्रैटेजी है, मैं ये इसलिए बोल रही हूँ कि मुझे ये पता है कि ये स्ट्रैटेजी हमेशा काम करती है, और वो है 3 कॉलम स्ट्रैटेजी, राइट? यू कैन कंसिडर इट एज माई रिक्वेस्ट विथ फोल्डेड हैंड्स टू ईच वन ऑफ यू. सिर्फ GT देने से कंटेंट नहीं इंप्रूव होगा मेरे बच्चों. कंटेंट इंप्रूव करने के लिए वो कंटेंट जो आपका वीक है, यू हैव टू गो बैक टू योर क्लास नोट्स, right? So please, every test paper you give, you have to make a 3 column starting with bottom 3 or 5 subjects, I assure you, I can give it to you in writing, that this strategy does not fail to increase your number of correct questions. It is a promise, but you have to follow it for next 3 months wholeheartedly. बहुत बच्चे सिर्फ बोलते हैं हम हर हर 2 दिन बाद जीटी दे रहे हैं, हर 3 दिन बाद जीटी दे रहे हैं, उससे बात नहीं बनेगी. If the problem is content, frequency will not help you. Assessment will help you, right? And I will tell you at what frequency you can give the grand test. Now I will give over the mic to Dr. Sumer. He will tell you how to work if your problem was MCQ skill.
Okay, so I was waiting for my chance to speak, so finally I got it. So the entire idea is, in the grand test, whenever you are appearing for the grand test, there are few rules. Number one, you have to give the grand test as if you are giving the final exam. Whenever you are writing a grand test, you have to imagine as if you are giving a final exam. है ना? ऐसे सोचना है. And you have to, make yourself afraid, make yourself worked up, make yourself under tension. Now what will happen is, if you put yourself under tension, okay, what will happen is, it will happen once, twice, thrice, but subsequently you will get used to it. Subsequently you will get used to it because you will have given a grand test so many times. जितनी ज्यादा बार आप ग्रैंड टेस्ट देते हो, उतना ज्यादा उसकी आदत पड़ जाएगी और उतना ज्यादा वो बाद में आसान हो जाएगा. Okay, so you should give the grand test as if you are giving the actual exam. You should give the actual exam as if you are giving a grand test. That is the number one thing. Mindset. During the exam, what is your mindset? Are you able to look at the exam in a more relaxed manner? जितना ज्यादा आप रिलैक्स होगे, जितना ज्यादा आप रिलैक्स होगे, उतना ज्यादा आपका एग्जाम बेटर होगा. ओके, दूसरा, ओके, दूसरी बात, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Whenever you're writing the exams, we all believe that we will know the answer surely. हमें लगता है कि हमें 100% आ रहा होगा, but usually the probabilities are 50% and above. मतलब, if you are able to rule out 2 choices, you need to attack on the day of the exam. Thirdly, manage the time. नीट पीजी में 4 सेट या 4 ब्लॉक नहीं होंगे जैसे INICET में होते हैं, लेकिन माइंडसेट वही रखना है. Every 30 minutes do 35 MCQs. Every 30 minutes do 35 MCQs so that you are able to manage the time as well as your MCQ skills. Fourthly, don't forget the usually asked topics, which are the hot zones, which we'll cover in the DVT again. And finally, if I want to highlight for you a very important thing, that sometimes we forget that exam environment also plays on our mind. Sometimes if you don't practice in the exam environment, you might find yourself more nervous. So better to give more CBTs, more computer-based simulated tests before you go for the final exam. So let's see if you have any queries, I'll be able to answer. So I see a lot of students have asked a question, sir, DVT ki book is baar change hoga kya? So definitely, there has been 1 year since that DVT has happened. So in the last 12 months, there are a lot of updates and teachers have added almost in many subjects, there are significant updates in the DVT. So it was advisable to have the new workbook with you. And एक बच्चा कह रहा है सर मैं ना रिवाइज मैं अटैक करता हूं लेकिन अनवांटेड कर देता हूं. So beta, I know why you are doing it. Okay. So what is happening is sometimes when you are giving the question, instead of looking at the question with a thinking and a elimination process, we start looking at the longest answer या सबसे अजीब वाला वर्ड होता है उसको मार्क कर देते हैं. वो अंडर थिंकिंग है. Do not attack at 4 choices. Always attack at 2 choices. First rule out, then attack. Okay.
All right. So since I promised, I will be telling you the frequency of grand test, and this is based on number of correct questions beta. So if you are getting more than or equal to 150 correct MCQs in the grand test, then it is a good idea to give the grand test every 3 days, right? Every 3 to 4 days, but provided you are at a number of correct questions which are more than 150. Okay. Now, if you have more than or equal to 140 correct MCQs, then you should give the grand test every week. Okay. So if it is more than 140 correct, then every week. Third, if you are at 130 or more than 130 correct, but less than 140, give it every 10 days. Then give it every 10 days. If you are at 120 correct MCQs, then give it every 15 days. Okay, give it every 15 days. Less than 120, you can give it every 15 days, or you can give it every, let's say 3 weeks also. Agar 120 se kam hai, give it every 21 days. Now, there is a reason why I have this plan. Okay, and the important reason is because the frequency of grand test has to be dependent on number of correct. The more the number of correct means lesser mistakes. So you will need less time to work on your weak topics before you give the next grand test. If you have number of correct questions which are less, इसका मतलब incorrect ज़्यादा है. So if incorrect ज़्यादा है, you need more time to work on those topics before you give the next grand test. So the idea is between one GT and the other GT, you have to work on your weak topics very specifically, not the entire subject. Just exactly, very specifically the subtopic that you have done wrong. और कहाँ से रिवाइज करना है? From your original main class notes, right? You have to read that topic.
I'll explain this further also, because what happens is many times if I tell you something, you will not be receptive. But if you have done a mistake and then I tell you, you're receptive. So try to understand this very important thing. And I'm sure आपके parents ने भी सबने बताया था कि हम गलती करके सीखते हैं. So whenever you make a mistake in a grand test, it is a very useful thing. It is not a problem. It is a blessing, because it opens you up to suggestion कि ये कैसे ठीक करना चाहिए था. That is the point where you need to go to the video solutions. In every grand test, every CBT that we conduct, you have video solutions. At least for the mistakes, spend one full day listening to the teachers and trying to find out why my answers have been wrong and how to improve.
Yes, okay. Now we have another query in the chat
and before
box.
I go on, just to cover this ground here, that not only you should give grand test, you should also appear for the CBT. CBT happens in a simulated exam environment that gives you the best simulation, and you don't have the anxiety attack in the real exam because you have seen this all before. So there are 3 more CBTs that we will conduct for NEET PG. You can register for the CBTs on the website that I'm showing you below. Don't forget to register for CBT, because there is a cutoff date after which we cannot take any more candidates for the CBT.
Okay, now very, very importantly, some of you are asking, how do we work on the content now? So which means maybe you have some very big subjects pending, or maybe you want to even start now. So pehla sawal, even if you have big subjects pending, even if you are starting now, the first doubt that comes to your mind is, will I be able to do well? My answer is yes. You will definitely do far better than what you are right now. Every day, every effort you make makes you better than yesterday. So if there are 3.5 months, there is a very good or a very fair chance of you doing much, much better than what you are at the level today. So there's a lot of scope, and we have to use it to our benefit. जैसे कहते हैं ना, we should start from where we are with what we have, and that's what we're going to do. The second question is, okay, if it is possible and if I have big subjects pending, or if I have more of content pending, what should I do? So number one, if your big subjects are pending and you don't have your notes or something like that, then there are 2 ways. Back to basics, especially for subjects which are pending or where your content is weak. You can actually go selective also, which means you can first do topics that are wrong for you or that are pending for you. That is what you can do. You can only go through the videos in a quick mode for those particular topics, right? So the second way, if you feel no, you have the content, but it is still weak and you don't really know how to go about it, and your problem is also MCQ skill, Then the second way is fast track TNDs. बहुत सारे बच्चों ने ऐसा बोला है that it is very difficult for them to make targets for themselves, and that is why I decided that I will give targets. So there are two ways. One is mini test series, which is free for all, available on the eMedicos app in the daily quiz section. I have already started the first set of mini test series, right, which will end before DVT. So which means it will help you in revising with targets every day of a new subject before DVT. After DVT, we will have another round of free mini tests on the app. But other than that, if you have problems in making targets for your own self, then fast track TND would be an excellent resource, right? It will give you well-defined targets कि 2 दिन में ये पढ़कर आना है, उसका टेस्ट होगा. There will be a live discussion, which means the teacher will help you in MCQ skill, and it will also help you build the content, especially for topics which are must know. So 80% of topics which are very important for DVT, right? Those are the ones we are going to focus on. We're not, especially when we talk about fast track TND. So we are going to keep the ratio of 80-20. 80% would be those which are must knows. 20% are those which add to the width, especially for NEET PG.
Okay, and also for the students who are going to appear for the FMG exam, for the foreign medical graduate students, we are going to start the DVT equivalent of FMG, which is called DFX. DFX is DAMS FMG Express. Every year we do it in the around a month before the FMG exam. This year we are starting on 16th of November. I will be starting with radiology first day, and we will revise the entire subject in a short and crisp manner. Even DFX, just like DVT comes with a workbook edition, you will have handouts after every class where you can make notes, and it is done both online and offline. What we will do is, after the DFX, we will conduct multiple tests for the foreign medical graduates offline as well as online, and plus there will be a CBT for the FMG exam also on the computer centers. So the methodology that we follow is same for both the exams. You will have a theory revision, which is called as the DVT for NEET PG and DFX for the FMG exam. And I see a lot of students who are saying, sir, can I start now? Definitely you can start now. This is the right time where you can make, this is like ऐसा समय जैसे बहुत कम भी नहीं है, बहुत ज़्यादा भी नहीं है. Can you imagine now? So it is not like you are 1 week away from the exam. You are approximately, say, 100 days away from the exam, approximately speaking, I think. So it is still possible to do well. It is still possible to change the game. It is still possible to cover more ground, but you need to start. You can't just say कि मेरा ये खराब हो गया paper, तो I will not go further. So it is still possible. I keep seeing students who are saying, how will I revise after DVT? So after DVT, we will mainly revise the DVT booklet. That will become your main source.
Yes.
कई बच्चे पूछ रहे सर उसका previous year question का क्या होगा, या एक बच्चा पूछ रहा है INI PYT. मलिका, INI PYT आप अब DVT के बाद मई के एग्जाम के लिए देखने हैं.
हाँ, अभी नहीं, नीट के लिए नहीं.
PG के लिए आपको DVT को ज्यादा रिवाइज करना है.
Please understand the differences I just highlighted between INICET and NEET. You need more width, some depth in some topics. DVT will do that for you, right? Absolutely yes. So after DVT, हम दो चीजें करेंगे. Number one, all of us, no matter whether our problem content or revision or MCQ skill, ये एक चीज कॉमन है. DVT सबको करना है. You have to use it for revising your subject, because with the DVT book, with the DVT sessions, you will be able to do even 3 revisions before NEET PG, and that is what is optimum. Okay. Second, DVT के साथ आपने क्या add करना है, वो will depend on your weakness. So if somebody's weakness is MCQ skill, they should be, doing the fast track TND with it. If your weakness is content, use back to basics with it. If your weakness is, revisions, use your own TND papers, your class test papers for a retrograde revision. So this is what you add with DVT. last 15 to 20 days before NEET PG, it will be only DVT and your wrong diary. Yes, I will also elaborate on the 3-column strategy in a little time, let's say 5 minutes. Let me give the mic to sir and I'll elaborate.
And also, one important thing that I want all of you to know, very, very important is, कि for whenever you are appearing for a grand test, the critical thing is learning from mistakes. If you are not learning from mistakes, half of the battle is lost because you are only giving the test. Do not look at any test as a judgment on your ability, on your ability of your final rank. It is not a judgment, it is not a future prediction, it is a learning tool. To listen to the video solutions, I am saying it again, but I think that is the most critical thing that many of you are missing out. That if you are not listening to the video solutions of your mistakes, then you are doing yourself a disservice. Because if I don't know what is the approach of the teacher, I will not be able to improve. Second thing, I am seeing this question multiple times in the chat box, sir, अभी जो time बच गया उसमें NEET PG crack हो सकता है? Definitely हो सकता है, बिल्कुल हो सकता है, but we need to go ahead in this. And one thing that I am seeing a common question is कि sir, madam, what is the wrong diary? So मैं ये कह रहा हूँ, wrong diary ना अपनी हर mistakes पे मत बनाओ, फिर बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा. Make a wrong diary of your GT mistakes.
Yes.
While listening to the teacher, while listening to the video solutions, make a wrong diary from your GT mistakes. This is going to be your go-to resource for the final 2 days before the NEET PG exam.
So I'm just going to highlight something, a doubt that was asked, and then I'll tell you about the 3-column and wrong diaries. Someone has asked, DVT will be only offline or online also? Online also, beta. You can enroll for the course either offline or online. For DAM students who are offline students, the course is very much included. For online students who are already enrolled with us, the course is included, but the hard copy is not included. If you subscribe from outside, if you subscribe to a face-to-face course, the hard copy will be included, but in the online course, if you subscribe through the app, you will get live lectures of DVT. You will also get the videos afterwards and you can see it as many times. You will also get annotated soft copies, but the hard copy is not included with the online course. Now, coming to what should we do, or as in the 3-column strategy or in the wrong diary.
Before ma'am takes it, I want to take a question. बहुत सारे बच्चों ने पूछा है कि NEET PG के लिए भी FMG की previous year question. Yes, both these exams you need to do the previous year questions of both the papers. The board conducting FMG and NEET PG is same. You need to look at the PYQs for both these boards.
Right. So now let's understand what you're supposed to do in the 3-column strategy. So when I say 3-column strategy, it is a way of analyzing your subjects. So I usually tell my students, don't review all 19 subjects together. Start with bottom 3 or 5 subjects. So let's say you have selected 5 of your bottom subjects in which you have done more mistakes, A, B, C, D, E. Now in these 5 subjects, I want you to do an analysis based on 3 columns. The first column is topics that I have done wrong. Okay. So you have to write down the name of the topic in a very, very specific way. It should not be a broad name. You cannot write, I have done medicine mein CVS wrong. CVS is a broad thing, right? I want you to pinpoint exactly what have you done wrong. So your wrong subtopics written very specifically from the first column. The second column is things that are volatile for you because you simply forgot them. They are volatile. It could be biochem, it could be pharma. Again, very specifically, you have to write down that in those subjects, these questions came in the paper and they were volatile for me and I forgot them. The third column is something new that you might have learned from that paper in that subject, but this column is least important. It is not the time to run after updates. Keep it to minimum. Keep it only very simple to the explanations given in the GT. So every time you analyze a subject, it has to be based on these 3 columns, right? With weak topics, volatile topics, and some new things that probably you left behind or you did not cover. Gradually, as you move further, you can increase the number of subjects. From bottom 5, you can go on to bottom 7, and that's how the analysis goes. What is wrong diary? Wrong diary is a subdivision of 3-column strategy itself. It's a diary where you keep specifically writing exactly the things that you've done wrong. And once you revise them, you cut it out with a pencil. So this is a diary which will help you keep identifying your weak zones. It will help you and in converting it into strengths, as well as कुछ चीजें होंगी जो आप बार बार गलत करते हो, तो वो आपको पता लग जाएगा कि एग्जाम से पहले भी रिवाइज करना है. सो इसीलिए रॉन्ग डायरी इज समथिंग वी मस्ट गो थ्रू इवन क्लोज टू द एग्जाम.
So now I think I can take a few questions. एक बच्चे ने पूछा सर, out of SWTs and TND paper, what should I prefer? So TND or your class test paper should be your first paper that you use. If you have done them already, then go for SWTs. SWTs आपके ऐप पे revision test papers हैं. TNDs are the first paper to be done. So always prefer the first paper first. NAMS में chronology है. TND or class test first. Second is SWT. Third is your grand test, then you do mock test towards the final month. And we are going to do multiple mock tests for FMG as well as NEET PG exam. एक बच्चे ने क्वेश्चन पूछा हुआ है and I wanted to answer this question is, sir, can I do them on my crash course mode? So when you subscribe to Back to Basics or Ultimate Live, you get a crash course mode also. So if you have not done a subject so far, Shivani, probably you have asked this question. So अगर वो छोटा सब्जेक्ट है, यू कैन फिनिश इट डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द क्रैश कोर्स मोड. इफ इट्स अ बिगर सब्जेक्ट, अभी बहुत टाइम पड़ा है, डू फ्रॉम द बैक टू बेसिक्स. बैक टू बेसिक्स में वी हैव इंट्रोड्यूस्ड अ स्पेशल 6 month सब्सक्रिप्शन टू हेल्प यू इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग राइट नाउ. And also I see one or two students having a very important query. Let me just say, one student is saying, sir, 1266 rank aaya hai and should I join or should I prepare for NEET? My suggestion to you is keep studying. In the Central Institute, at a rank of around 1200, you will be in a borderline zone where you might not be getting a branch that you're seeking actually. So it's always a good idea to keep preparing side by side, see the counseling. Don't stop studying till the time you have your selected PG seat in your hand. This is the mantra which holds for almost every day, every exam, that do not stop studying till the time you have the PG seat in your hand.
Okay, somebody is asking, when you revise, do you go through the entire content all over again? मैंने ये बार बार भी बोला है. Please understand, your first revision should be a good revision, right? But if you start again from the first page of your notes, you might get bored. So I always say, use your class test papers, your SWTs paper to do a retrograde revision. मतलब instead of starting from the first page of your notes, take your class test, take your TND or an SWT paper, और जो जो टॉपिक आते जा रहे हैं वो टॉपिक को go back to the notes and read it. You know, it ensures that you are reading the more important things from the notes first. मतलब must knows. देखो, every subject will have some must knows, some good to knows, and some maybe knows, right? So our goal has to be, I have to be excellent in must knows. I have
Now, I also want to discuss with you that this is how your DVT will look like. We will do DVT face-to-face in Delhi in Shri Fort Auditorium. We already have more enrollment, so we might be doing it in 2 places to it simultaneously. And it will also be done live on the eMedicos app. You can attend it live on the app, and plus in our face-to-face centers, we will also be doing a live broadcast in most of them. You just need to ask your local coordinator. All our face-to-face students in December, maybe 2-3 days before DVT, you can collect the workbook from your local centers. Okay, face-to-face students need to collect the book from your local centers. Online students, if you need the hard copy workbook, you need to purchase this extra. It is available for purchase only on eMedicos app in the bookstore right now. Once the more copies are available, we might make it available on Amazon also. But right now, DVT workbook is only available on the app in the bookstore section of the app. Number 3, after every session, annotated PDF by the teachers will be uploaded in the app for your multiple time review, so that if you need to review the notes again, you can directly review. These videos, if you only subscribe to DVT, if you're not a NAMS subscriber, then if you need only DVT, you can go to the event section on your app. You can select either online or offline. Which mode do you want to attend?
Right. So I will repeat again. Yes, your first revision has to be thorough. अभी टाइम है, उसको superficial मत करो बच्चों. So please remember, your first revision has to be all your notes, but you can go a retrograde approach, right? And after that, after your first revision, your second and third revisions will be selective. They will be only and only through DVT along with tests. Okay, so first revision को thorough करो, उसको superficial मत करो in order to go very hurried. Right? Agar if we do that, then we are cutting on content, and if we cut on content, it is likely that we will get more confused with options, right? So first reading should be thorough, and you can go retrograde through the test papers, but we will revise everything. Second, yes, DVT will be a game changer for sure. Each of the faculties, it's like a competition for us as well, right? We put forward our best foot, and we keep two things in mind. We are not going to bombard you with new things. So please understand, somebody was asking, if I've read from another resource, can I still use DVT? Bilkul. We are not going to cover we are not looking for unique ranks. We are looking for converting each one of you into a good rank holder, right? So we will be, as I said, 80% of our goal is to cover topics which are must knows and good to knows. Maybe knows is where we venture, but only 20%. So no matter what resource, Rajiv Bache, whatever you might have read,
DVT will be the game changer for you.
in fact, you will thank us later. We have
Because
seen the reviews last
we
year.
are the most concise resource that is available, but most highest strike rate in the exam. Shadab has asked, sir, I am starting DFX revision from 16 for FMG exam in January, but my pendencies are left. So Shadab, the good idea will be write down which subjects are left. First, tackle the bigger subjects. In your app, you have access to the recorded lectures of the FMG live class also. So maybe what you can do is side by side, थोड़ा थोड़ा जो subject रह गए उनको भी खत्म करना है. If you leave a subject in FMG exam, you're doing yourself a disservice. मैं ये कह रहा हूँ FMG exam के अंदर ना, if you only listen to all 19 subjects once, your passing 150 becomes very easy because you have basics of all these subjects. हर सब्जेक्ट को टच करने से पास होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है, तो उसको छोड़ना नहीं है, उसको मिस नहीं करना.
Okay, quick 2 queries. Do offline students of DVT also get the videos? Hanji, you get everything. You get videos also. Offline wale bache, you get the hard copy also. You get the soft copy also. Everything you get. You can watch the videos as many number of times. Second, if your first revision is going up till December, are you still in the game? Totally, yes. Very much in the game. You will do very well. Why should you doubt?
देखो,
Okay?
नवंबर का एग्जाम ना हमेशा थोड़ा जल्दी आ जाता है और हमेशा ऐसा लगता है कि काश थोड़ा और टाइम मिला होता, लेकिन अब जब मिल रहा है तो तू घबरा रहा है. मार्च तक बहुत टाइम है. मेक इट हैपन. So I am again repeat after me. I have enough time till NEET PG to make the game changer, to change the game, and I will be the one who will come and give interview to Dr. Sumer, Dr. Deepti after getting a top rank in NEET PG. Please write it in the chat box and let me know that you are alive.
See, post DVT, we are going to plan your revisions after DVT as well. Don't worry about that. We will tell you, as I said, we will have free mini tests also. We have fast track TNDs also. We will give you mock test also. We will make the plan how to best use the DVT also after the DVT as well. Before DVT, your goal should be finish pendencies. Number 2, give all the free mini tests on the app. That helps you in passive revision. They are available free for everyone on the home page in the daily quiz section. नीट डीवीटी तक ये करो. देखो, मेरे को बहुत सिंपल बात पता है. जब आप मेरे सामने छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, और आप सब हमारे लिए छोटे ही हो, चाहे वो मेरा बेटा हो चाहे आप हो, अगर मैं आपको बहुत सारे टारगेट्स एक साथ दे देती हूँ तो अनलाइकली है कि आप उसमें से 50% भी अचीव करोगे. मेरा गोल होता है स्टेप बाय स्टेप बच्चे को टारगेट देना, so that you are focused, that this is what I want to do. So for all of you who are here today, my task for you is finish pendencies till 12th of December, especially if they are from 3rd and 4th subjects. Second, start your passive revision for other subjects also using free mini tests, using your own T&D papers, using your SWT papers, whatever resource you have, start. So कुछ subjects में pendencies होंगी, कुछ subjects में revision शुरू करेंगे until 12th of December.
अच्छा, एक ना बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स पूछ रहे हैं, आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ देम आर कंफ्यूज आल्सो कि सर मैंने अगर कोई और प्लेटफॉर्म पढ़ा है तो क्या मैं डीवीटी को समझ पाऊंगा? फिर डीवीटी में आप कोई फारसी में या कोई हम अलग भाषा में नहीं पढ़ेंगे. वी विल बी स्टडिंग द मोस्ट यूजफुल, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स विच आर आस्क्ड इन द एग्जाम. Last DVT, we had a strike rate of 60%. Out of 200 questions, 120 plus were directly from DVT. So it is actually more important, if you are from another resource, is more important कि DVT देख लेते हैं, क्योंकि you need to know what is more important, what is asked, instead of the voluminous material that you might have collected from multiple resources.
Right. So as I said, tasks याद रखेंगे, DVT तक क्या करना है. DVT के बाद we will come up again to give you tasks for the next. So every time we finish a landmark, we will have a new landmark for us, right? And we will do it so that you're able to do 2 to 3 revisions using the same resource, right? Because the DVT booklet is going to be made in such a way that it will be covering PYQs, it will be covering PYTs, it will give you sufficient width and depth, especially in some topics. It will definitely cover must knows and good to knows.
And I think Nikhil has asked us FMG exam के लिए क्या करें. So the most important thing is we need to think of beginning the revision. I've already come multiple times on this channel and said that revision for FMG should be started after Diwali. Now the Diwali is done, so we'll start revision. For revision in DAMS, we'll do a course called as DFX. Starting 16 November, we will revise everything. We'll give you workbooks on which you will make your notes. Annotated PDF by the teachers will be uploaded for you for multiple review, and we will conduct multiple mock tests for you, offline mock test as well as computer based test on the computer centers. Please appear for as many mock tests as possible. You, for FMG exam, in your online test series also you have special tests labeled as FMG mock test in the mock test section. Please give as many mock tests as possible to acclimatize yourself, to understand how the exam will feel like. And I'm assuring you, if you are thorough with DFX, thorough with mock test, I'm sure you will pass this exam in flying colors.
Okay, someone is again asking the frequency of GTs and how to work on it. I'm going to repeat it one more time. So if you are at 150 correct, give it every 3 days. 140 correct, give it every week. 130 correct, give it every 10 days. 120 correct, every 15 days. Less than 120, every 3 weeks. Right? That should be the frequency, because in between the 2 grand tests, we are going to do the analysis and we are going to work on topics that we have done wrong, right? For people who, again, who might have joined late and they don't know where they actually lack, please see the initial part of our today's session again. We talked about how to identify whether your problem is content or MCQ skill or revision. And based on that, you decide what will you focus first and what will you focus next. I have also told you the biggest differences between INICET and NEET PG. We've been highlighting that. That is what is going to be our course of action. Okay, quickly tell me, is everyone clear on what they are going to do before DVT? That is till 12th of December. You have a month, right? Quickly, I want a thumbs up if you know your task for next 1 month, which is up till 12th. Please don't worry. I will keep coming and keep giving you tasks, because I don't want to give you 10 tasks today itself, because that seems non-doable. It puts you off and you lose track. क्योंकि ऐसा लगता है इतना कुछ करना है तो कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे. So अभी सिर्फ 1 महीने का टारगेट है. Target until 12. Number 1, finish your pendencies, especially from 3rd and 4th year subjects. Target number 2, give all free mini tests, because they are passive revision for the remaining subjects. Target number 3, for those who don't have pendencies, start your revision. The first revision has to be thorough, but it should be retrograde. So use the class test paper, the SWT paper, your own T&D paper. The topics that are covered first should be revised first from the class notes, right? So those are the 3 tasks until 12th of December. Then we begin with DVT, and then we will have another test, another series of free mini tests, and another set of tasks that me and Dr. Sumer are going to come here live and give it to you for the second round. Okay?
And what we have seen is many of you have asked a question regarding DVT online, offline. So I'll repeat it for you. DVT will be conducted offline in the Shri Fort Auditorium in Delhi. We already have more enrollment than the auditorium can accommodate. And so we are also planning to hold it in 2 places. So we will give you the allotment of the center according to the chronological sequence of your enrollment. Number 2 is even the second auditorium is about to get filled. So I would advise if you enroll early before we close the enrollment for the DVT event. DVT can be attended live on the eMedicos app. You can enroll only for DVT also online on the app. And number 3 is you can collect your hard copy workbook if you are a face-to-face student from your centers. If you are an online student, you can purchase it on the app. There is a link called as bookstores in the bottom of the app. So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you how the DVT would look like. So if you see on the top, this is a image showing us a live DVT where the teacher will be teaching from the studio, and you can connect through the chat box and interact with the teacher through the chat box. This is what the online event will feel like, and the offline event will be like this. You will see it on the studio in the stadium, and you will be attending with the teachers live.
Right. So I think we have answered most of the queries for today. We've given you tasks. We have told you how to do an analysis. So you have sufficient work for 1 month. It's very important that you stay focused. This is the time not to lose focus, but to gain momentum, right? But please understand there are still 3.5 months to go. So I don't want any burnouts. I don't want excessive stress. We will build the stress gradually. We will press the accelerator gradually. इसीलिए first level of tasks is something that is going to build your base. Okay?
अच्छा, एक दो स्टूडेंट ने पूछा सर, I'm an online student, can I take a discount for attending offline DVT? Yes, you can. Just there is a number which is flashing at the bottom of the video. You can WhatsApp at that number, explain your concern, and team will help you definitely.
Hanji, so okay, and there was some people are asking about PYQ kabab. So please remember, DVT may we are covering everything, right? So we are covering PYQs also. We are going to the PYTs also, right? We go into the topics. We just don't give you answers of PYQs. So don't worry, it will automatically be taken care of. But if some of you want in the last lab to do the PYQs alone, it is available on the app. The PYQ kabab we did last year for last 4-5 sessions, so that is also available. But as I said, it will be part and parcel of DVT. You don't have to do extra, Baba. Everything will be given at one place for you.
Achha, a lot of students have asked, sir, I did DVT earlier also. So this year book is updated based on the updates of this year. In many subjects there are updates, and plus it is always a good idea when you are attending a session. If you have the book in your hand, it always makes it more easy to attend. And if you are annotating side by side, the recall also improves more.
Yes, that is exactly why the DVT book is in the form of active recall. We want you to be involved in the class. It's not a Netflix series, okay? So please understand, our goal is not to just finish it. Our goal is to put it across to you in a way where you retain it for a longer time. You find it easier to go through it again and again, right? So it is in the form of active recall. I want you to be involved when we are teaching. हमारे लिए वो सबसे important बात होती है जब बच्चे हमारे साथ ऐसे सर हिलाते हैं, ऐसे हंसते हैं, कभी-कभी ऐसे भी frown भी करते हैं कि ये समझ नहीं आया. वो हमारे लिए biofeedbacks हैं. That is why for us live is so important.
And
we want those biofeedbacks.
I am seeing this concern by many students, sir, can we attend on the satellite centers? Now the damn satellite classes, the famous live classes that were happening earlier, now they are directly available on the eMedicos app. You can attend any DVT or any live class every day in our regular course at 5 p.m. We are doing a live class on the app. So what we have done is we have created the buzz that and we have created the change that is required in the e-learning platforms that we need to learn, teach live so that we can constantly interact and solve the queries.
अच्छा, अब मेरी बात सुनो. अभी अभी हमने प्लान आउट कर लिया है. अभी हम सब जाएंगे, ठीक है. अब सेशन को एंड भी करेंगे. बट मी एंड डॉक्टर सुमेर, वी विल कीप कमिंग लाइव ऑन यूट्यूब हर महीने का टास्क लेके, right? So this from now 12th until 12th we'll give you new tasks. Once the DVT Right, so we are back with the video. So as I said, until the 12th of December, we have tasks. We are going to finish that up. We are going to come live every day, 10 a.m. on the Transform series, live on the app to talk to all of you. So do join in every day at 10, right? When we can do it religiously, why can't all of you do that? So interact with us, come let us know your problems. We will sit, talk just for 10 minutes, talk heart to heart every single day. And we will keep coming live every month. So we will come again live with these tasks for the next month after DVT, right? So I hope we've made things very clear. You have a path now, you have well-defined targets now, and I'm sure that you're going to follow it. You are brilliant people. The only problem is you get distracted, right? Sometimes a little too much, which is, I think, a genuine problem these days. So I won't really blame you for that. Had I been in your stage, maybe I would have got distracted. And that is why it is essential for people to keep nudging us back to our track, है ना? तो इसीलिए कोई बात नहीं, थोड़ा सा डिस्ट्रैक्शंस को कम करने की कोशिश करो. मैंने एक रील डाला था जिसमें मैंने बोला था, start being selfish with your time, selfish with your priorities, and selfish for your own space. You should know where you're going to put your energy, where you're going to put your focus. ये last 3 महीने थोड़ा सा अपने आप को प्रायोरिटी दो, बाकी चीजों को बैकस्टेज रखो, ठीक है? सो वो प्लीज थोड़ा सा आपको मेहनत करना पड़ेगा. बाकी whenever you get distracted, we will be there to nudge you back to your path, right?
And I am glad that you people are enjoying the Transform series on the eMedicos app for our DAM students. Every day we connect to you on the app, 10 a.m., 10 minutes. ठीक है? सुबह 10 बजे,
सिर्फ
10
10
minute. Go to your My Course section in your app. You will find us there every day with you. And our only goal is to make sure that we are with you. मैं ना ये चाहता हूँ कि ये जो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन के अंदर ना सोललेस, बिल्कुल इमोशनलेस एजुकेशन चल रहा है, उसको चेंज करना चाहता हूँ. आई वांट टू कनेक्ट टू ऑल ऑफ यू एवरी सिंगल डे. सो वी लव टू बी विद यू every single day 10 a.m. We will be live on YouTube also multiple times. We are here to make sure that we help you to maintain the mindset required for the competitive exam.
Okay, so now I'm going to leave the session, and I hope we could be of little help to show you what you need to do next. So some of you might have joined this session late. I would request you to go through this session, especially the early part where we told you how to do an analysis on what is your culprit. Is it your content, revision, or MCQ skill? Based on that, we have told you what you need to focus on and how you need to move forward. Right? We have talked about all 3 aspects, and we will keep coming back. Okay? सो घबराने की कोई बात नहीं है. यू आर नॉट अलोन. योर पेरेंट्स आर देयर, वी आर देयर, योर फ्रेंड्स आर देयर, वी आर ऑल इन इट टुगेदर. एंड ऑल्दो वी आर ऑल इन इट टुगेदर, मगर अपना टाइम कौन ला सकता है बताओ? सो वी कैन ओनली नज यू बैक, है ना, लेकिन अपना टाइम तो अपन खुद लाएगा, राइट?
And before we go, I just quickly recap what we've learned today. First thing I've told you is, and I'm sure you've learned it, 20% of the topics contribute to the 80% of the questions in the exam. Don't overdo. There are scores of resources which have huge number of hours. There are so many YouTube channels throwing content every day. But if you get, if you get bogged down by the clutter, you will miss out on the more important things. So this is the principle that we follow in the DAMS DVT and the DFX. Number two, I want you to remember is, which is very important, is that DVT will be available online live on your app. So if you notice, this is the live interface, and you will see on the chat also, and you will have both the things with you live. That means you can interact with the teachers as well. Number three, I wanted to recap for you is DVT will be done in the stadium in the Shri Fort Auditorium. We look forward to meeting you there. बहुत धमाल मचाएंगे, एकदम कमाल करेंगे,
सब कुछ
और
करेंगे, पढ़ाई भी करेंगे, थोड़ी थोड़ी बीच में कोशिश करेंगे आपका मूड भी अच्छा रहे, ठीक है, क्योंकि मूड ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ लड़कियों का खराब होता है, मूड सबका खराब होता है. तो विल टेक केयर. एज आई सेड, हम हैं आपके साथ, मगर ऐसा है ना कि सबको अपनी जर्नी खुद ही ट्रैवल करनी है. हम सिर्फ कोशिश करेंगे कि आप जर्नी से भटके नहीं, बट आगे आपको बढ़ना पड़ेगा. आपकी जर्नी है, आपका पर्पस है, भगवान जी ने आपके लिए कुछ बड़ा सोच रखा है, कुछ अच्छा सोच रखा है, तो आगे बढ़ के अपना हक लेंगे, ठीक है?
Whatever is rightfully ours, we will take it. And don't forget to appear for the DAM CBT, because sometimes what happens is, I have seen students who get nervous on the day of the exam. Better to give the exam in the simulated exam. And to summarize whatever we have said today, I'm just putting a slide up which is saying, let me just add a slide up for you on the screen. And I want you to tell me, अपना टाइम आएगा कि अपना टाइम अपन खुद लाएगा. So on this note, I am again telling you, and we are again re-emphasizing, टाइम आता नहीं है, टाइम तो लाना पड़ेगा. कैसे लाएंगे? अपनी मेहनत से लेके आएंगे, और इतना बढ़िया लाएंगे कि कोई रोक नहीं पाएगा.
और जैसे अपना टाइम आता है, और इसका मतलब ये भी है, व्हाट ऑल यू डिजर्व इन लाइफ वो आपके लिए डिस्टाइंड है, पर वो गोदी में नहीं गिरेगा, है ना. उसके लिए हमें भी आगे बढ़ना पड़ता है. वी हैव टू पुट अ स्टेप फॉरवर्ड, वन स्टेप आफ्टर अनदर स्टेप. तो बस उतना ही करना है. देखो, जो आपके लिए रखा है वो तो रखा ही है, आपके नाम का पढ़ा है, बट इट विल नॉट फॉल इनटू योर लैप. You have to travel the path. That is how it is, and you will surely get what you deserve. Nobody can keep it from you. Okay.
And we can see a lot of apna time aega on the chat box. We love you all. We wish you all the best. Keep rocking, and छोड़ना नहीं है. जो हमारा है उसको छीन के लेंगे, अपना हक हर तरह से लेंगे. जैसे एक बच्चे ने लिखा भी है, बाय हुक और क्रुक लेना तो है ही. और एक बच्चे ने लिखा है कि सर, आई विल डेफिनेटली इंप्रूव, एंड आई हैव इंप्रूव्ड टू 1.3 दिस टाइम. सो वी आर वेरी प्राउड ऑफ अमित. वेल डन बेटा. कुछ भी आप कहना चाहते हैं, कुछ भी आप पूछना चाहते हैं, फील फ्री टू आस्क टू अस. वी विल बी देयर लाइव ऑन आवर इंस्टाग्राम पेज ऑल्सो, एंड वी विल बी देयर विद यू टुमारो एट 10 AM अगेन in the transform series.
Chalo, loads of love to all of you. Happiness and good health to your family members. Please give them our regards, and we need their blessings. It is all a world of blessings, right? सब बड़े छोटों को देते हैं, हम आपको देते हैं, आपके बड़े हमें देंगे, and that's how the circle of life continues. ठीक है. सो अपने पेरेंट्स को हमारा हाथ जोड़कर नमस्कार दीजिए, रिगार्ड्स दीजिए, हैप्पी दिवाली कहिए, and let's keep moving forward. Take care everyone. Loads and loads of love and good wishes.
God bless you. Keep rocking, and may this Diwali be the time जिसके बाद से आपने अपना गेम बदल देना है. हर जिंदगी में ना एक मौका आता है, एक मोमेंट आता है जिसके बाद हम चेंज कर देते हैं. ये आपका मोमेंट है. बदल देंगे इसके बाद सब कुछ. जो अभी तक हुआ वो एक इवेंट था, फ्यूचर प्रेडिक्शन नहीं है. हम कर पाएंगे. विल चेंज द फ्यूचर. हम हमारे हाथ में है. विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट बेटा.